Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Let me start out by saying this. I don't mean to seem insensitive or anything, but a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump is getting exactly what they voted for. And I'm not mad at him in any way, shape, or form. Why? I love somebody who stands on their word. This man told you what he was going to do. You voted for him anyways, hoping he wouldn't do what he told you he was going to do. And now he is doing what he told you he was going to do. Let's get right into this. Immigration time. So, the Trump administration has reportedly authorized Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, officials to speed up the deportation process of migrants who were admitted into the country legally under the Biden era programs. Remember those people coming across the border? Remember Donald Trump said, as far as he is concerned, every last one of them are illegal. A lot of them have been given temporary stay. He does not recognize their temporary stay they were given. He has now authorized ICE to speed up their deportation process. This turns out to be a lot of people. We're actually talking about huge numbers here. Let's get further into the details. According to a memo that was obtained by the New York Times and signed by acting head of the Department of Homeland Security, Benjamin C. Huffman, deportation powers previously reserved for border encounters are expanded to the programs that allowed over, get this, 1.4 million people to enter the U.S. temporarily. Now, these people were allowed in. U.S. authorities could have turned them back at the border. A lot of them think they were home safe. Not so. This program to turn them back has now been expanded. The programs in question are the CBP-1 app, which facilitated appointments for migrants to enter the U.S. legally and request asylum at a port of entry, and also an initiative admitting individuals from Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti under temporary parole status, known as the CHNV, gone. A memo instructs ICE officials now to prioritize the removal of migrants who have been in the U.S. longer than a year but have not applied for asylum. It also grants authority to terminate parole status and expedite deportations, bypassing immigration courts if migrants are already in the formal deportation process. That means usually, according to law, each person is supposed to go through the channels of going to the immigration courts. You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to have your case heard before a courts. Not under this administration. Under this administration, you go straight home. And for the people who were allowed in the country and had not filed for asylum yet, if you've been here for longer than a year, then you understand that what they're saying is, why did you come here then? The first thing I would be trying to do is to get myself straight in this country. You haven't even tried. You didn't do the paperwork for asylum. You didn't put in for an appointment, nothing. Out you go. Those who have been in the country for over 2 years for formal deportation proceedings can also be swiftly deported. The policy is already facing legal challenges, of course. The American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit claiming that the decision violates the federal laws and constitutional rights. Now, here's the thing. A lot of Americans are sitting in America saying that these constitutional rights apply to Americans in America on American soil. How do immigrants cross the border and suddenly they have constitutional rights? I would like to hear from an attorney who would explain to me further how this goes. ACLU lawyer Ananda Balakrishnan characterized the move as an attempt to fuel mass deportation while circumventing due process. In other words, she's saying that the Trump administration is trying to deport a whole lot of people without giving them their due process. You don't get to see an attorney. You don't get to fight your case. Nobody gets to hear why you're running to the U.S., grab you, and take you up out of here. Republicans heavily criticized the CHNV during the Biden administration, releasing in November a report alleging that rampant fraud and abuse are happening within the program. Now, through the CHNV, up to 30,000 aliens each month who otherwise have no basis to enter the country and who have a supporter in the United States can bypass the U.S. border and fly directly into the country on commercial flights to be granted parole for 2 years. This is what was said by the House Judiciary GOP through its official X site, which was Twitter at once, right? We need to stop saying X and Twitter because X has been X for a while now and Twitter has been gone for a long time now. But a lot of people know Twitter as Twitter and X as X. It's the same thing. Back to this right here. Allegedly under the Biden program, 30,000 aliens or migrants would be allowed to fly in on commercial jets with no proper papers. In some countries you need a visa to get into the country and your visa has to be approved. Not this. Under this program, the CHNV program, 30,000 every month was allowed as long as they were able to get somebody in the U.S. to say, yeah, that's my cousin, or yeah, that's my uncle, or yes, that's my brother or my sister, and I will help to financially support them while they are here in the U.S. They were able to bypass the U.S. borders and fly directly into the country on a commercial flight and then be granted a parole for 2 years while they apply for asylum and get to work their case out. And now Trump has gotten rid of this program, which is the CHNV program. Citing an internal Department of Homeland Security analysis, the report itself highlights evidence of fraudulent activities, including repeated use of social security numbers and addresses and phone numbers in supporters' applications. All that means is they started combing through the paperwork with a fine-teeth comb, and they kept finding people using the same social security numbers, same addresses, same phone numbers. Now, these are people who don't even know each other, right? And lots of different people. If you're coming in from, say, Mexico, and the next person is coming in from Guadalajara, and the next person is coming in from Cuba, and the next person is coming in from Dominican Republic, what are the odds that all of you are using the same social security numbers, same addresses, same phone numbers on your supporter application? Highly unlikely that one person can be a supporter for 5 different people from 5 different countries. The analysis also identified instances of sponsorship applications being submitted on behalf of minors and disproportionate numbers of females, raising concerns, you guessed it, about potential human trafficking. Right, and you got to understand that they have no way of figuring out, is this your child? You're coming into the country, a strange person, right, through this means with 2 little girls, age 7 and 10. We don't know if those are your children, and we have no way of finding out if those are your children. Now, the report goes on to contend that Department of Homeland Security has approved supporters with fraudulent documents or those with questionable financial means, including individuals who rely on public assistance. It wasn't supposed to be like that. These individuals were supposed to be sponsored by a family member who would not only give up their social security number, their home address, their phone, their everything so that they can be verified, they would also give up their income so that they can prove that, hey, my family comes here, I'll be able to take care of my family until they get on their feet. They will not be a financial burden to the system. And what we had instead was a bunch of individuals who did some fraudulent paperwork, and when they got here, they had no financial means of taking care of themselves, so they had to rely heavily on public assistance. Additionally, it claims that some approved supporters were themselves temporary visa holders, parolees, or recipients of deferred actions for childhood arrival or under the DACA program. So basically, they would get across and then they would falsify paperwork to get the rest of their people across. This created a potential of what they call chain migration. Even the people pretending to be supporters here, a lot of them were found to be temporary visa holders, not citizens, not permanent residents in positions to be able to help those they are doing paperwork to bring across. The Biden administration briefly suspended the same program to address these allegations, but they resumed it just 1 week after it was paused so they could look into all these things. Those things were never fixed. So the headline is Trump allows authorities to deport over 1 million migrants who were allowed to legally stay in the U.S. by Biden administration. Hey, there's going to be a lot of people getting deported. We see it already. It's all over the media. No need to just say here or there. They're definitely using military aircrafts, and it's going down. ICE agents are everywhere. Local authorities are working with ICE agents everywhere. Even in cities and states, you have some local leaders who are saying, we will not work with. Well, their cities and states are flooded with ICE agents, and they have the authority from the big guy all the way at the top to be there. So eventually, that's what's going down. They're even going into schools. There was one story recently on the news where ICE agents surrounded a school and wanted to go into the school. Guess what? They were not allowed to go into the school because the people at the school, principals and teachers, they called Child Protective Services first. And then they put out a news media message that the school does not work with ICE. The school does not work with Homeland Security. The school's priority is to make sure that children are safe, even if the child has no status here. They're going to have to deal with that on a different angle. Well, they will be catching those kids. And it is said that there are lots of children in school who are illegal immigrants, and they want even those children. Nobody is off limits. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Are you experiencing these issues? Will you be one of those who are sent back? I'm from the Jamaican community, and I know quite a few people who came across under the Biden era who were legally able to stay here. I don't know them personally, but I definitely do know them from social media because some of them are popular social media persons who are now living in the U.S. Their status is no longer safe. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.